Today I'm in Bratislava, Slovakia, and in this video I'm going to teach you some English vocabulary and phrases you can use when you travel. So if you like to travel and you want to learn some new and useful words in English, then watch until the end of this video. I wanted to arrive in Bratislava early in the day, so I hit the road at 7 in the morning. To hit the road means to start a journey or trip, usually by car. The drive along the highway was pretty scenic. When a landscape is scenic, it means it's pretty, it's beautiful, and it's nice to look at. I was excited to arrive in Bratislava and go sightseeing. When you go sightseeing, it means you explore a city and you see all the attractions and sights. I arrived in the city at 9 a.m. and I figured the best way to get around was by walking. Bratislava is a very walkable city, which means it's easy to walk through, but you could also use public transportation. Public transportation is things like buses, trains, or in this case, trams. A tram is just a train that goes on the road in the city. I really enjoyed wandering through the old town and checking out all the beautiful historic buildings. One of my favorite things about Bratislava was definitely the architecture. At 11, I felt like a coffee, so I decided to hang out at a cafe for a bit. There was a large selection of coffee and tea at this cafe, so I spent some time browsing through the menu. You could say browsing, but if you want to sound even more natural, you could say I was flipping through the menu. After I finished my coffee, I decided to explore the castle. Now, the castle was on a hill, so I had to walk up a little bit and get some exercise. To get into the castle, I had to purchase a ticket, which cost me 14 euros. In the castle, there was a museum where I discovered more about the history of the city and of Slovakia. In the castle museum, I saw a lot of old artifacts. An artifact is just an object from the past or from a long time ago. There was also an art exhibit, which contained a lot of paintings. An exhibit is just a collection of something, maybe paintings or artifacts, in a museum. Outside of the castle, I saw a place selling souvenirs. A souvenir is something you take home from vacation, like a fridge magnet or maybe a postcard. When I travel, I don't normally buy souvenirs, so I didn't get anything today. I was about to leave the castle and go back down into the city when I realized I had completely missed the castle gardens. So I went into the castle gardens to check them out and to take a stroll. To take a stroll means to take a slow, relaxed walk. This is a great word and native speakers use it all the time, so I would definitely recommend adding it to your vocabulary. The gardens were very peaceful and they were a great escape from the busy, bustling city. The word bustling means very busy, very noisy, or very loud. After I took my stroll, I was getting hungry. But first, I needed to take in the view. To take something in means to admire it. And in this case, the view was breathtaking, and I could see far into the distance. At this point, I was really hungry, so I decided to grab a bite to eat. To grab a bite to eat is a really natural way of saying to go eat something. I found a restaurant that was highly rated, which means it had good reviews. Unfortunately, I did not have a reservation, but thankfully they accepted walk-ins, which means I didn't need a reservation and I could easily get a table. I took a look at the menu and decided to order. My meal was delicious, but if you want to sound even more advanced, you can say it was exquisite. Exquisite. After lunch, I paid a visit to another famous attraction called Michael's Gate. It's the only surviving city gate in Bratislava, and it dates from the year 1300. Since this gate is so old, we could say it is historic. It wasn't busy at all, so I didn't have to line up, and I could go in right away. At first, I thought it might be a tourist trap, which means it's not worth it, or it's something just made for tourists. But after climbing a lot of stairs and seeing the view, it was definitely worth it. As we learned before, I could also say that I took in the view or that I admired the view. And since I could see the whole city, this was a 360-degree view, I could say it was a panorama. A panorama is a view of a large landscape or city from high above. Oh, and of course, the day wasn't complete without taking a detour to another beautiful cafe and enjoying a coffee. This was probably one of the most beautiful cafes I've been to, and it was quite small, but it had a charming ambiance. The ambiance of a place is the atmosphere or the vibe. The word vibe is a bit more informal, but it's still perfectly acceptable when you're talking to your friends or people you know well. After my second coffee of the day and a pretty tasty cake, I went back outside and I roamed around some more. To roam around is a great word, and it's a synonym of to wander or to explore or walk without having a real goal. You're walking around freely without any purpose. And that's one of the things I like most about traveling and exploring new cities. I had a great day because I could travel at my own pace. To travel at your own pace means to have the freedom to travel as fast or as slow as you want. And since I visited in October, I was lucky that it wasn't too crowded in the city. October is not peak season for tourism in Europe. That means it's not the busiest time of year. All in all, Bratislava is a pretty cool place, and especially if you're in Central Europe, it's definitely worth a visit.